Good morning, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Hey, Miss Coffee. Hey, YouTube cameras. Good morning, James and Co. Good morning, y'all. I'm taking my medication. Y'all make sure y'all take y'all's medications. This is your morning med check reminder to take your medications so you don't do like me and forget your medicine. Now, I will say that I was roaming around these streets yesterday. There was a lot going on, y'all. I was watching like 3 different lives at one time, right? We had Mrs. Intel. Hey, Tiffany. Good morning. We had Miss Intel live while Mother was live, while Buddy Lee was live, and there was stuff going down over there. And then we had, it was just, let me say it like this. I missed the good part where Lemon jumped up on Buddy Lee's and told Just Chris to choose between Buddy Lee and himself. I missed that whole part, y'all. I was over there at Mother's trying to get my life, right? And then I was over there at Miss Intel's. So I was like watching 4 different lives. And I watched you this morning a little bit YouTube cameras. I gotta go back and red ball and catch the beginning. Hey, Vibrant Love. Hey, Bella. So I was trying to catch it all, y'all. I was trying to catch it all. It was so much, right? Okay, Mother did a live and he was talking about, basically why do the girls, the straight ladies, use the word trade and stuff like that, right? Because if you like, it ain't your word kind of thing. Like you really shouldn't be using it. It's not a good word because it can have a lot of different contextual meanings, right? And then Brian got up there and him and Mother had a talk, right? They had a conversation. And Brian said that he did not like men that wore makeup and stuff, basically. So, when Ro was dressed up in the wig and everything else and all that, it kind of turned him off. And Brian said he is kind of conflicted about being a man who likes men. He said he was kind of conflicted. But they had a full blown conversation. So I was over there at Mother's getting my whole life, right? And I was at Buddy Lee's at the same time. See, what I was doing is I was switching between tabs, trying to keep one a little lower than the other, trying to keep one higher. And then over there at Miss Intel's, right, we had she was dragging Uppity. Her and Uppity are into it, right? And then Hershey Kisses got up there and was uh saying that Just Kimmy used to be a mod for Sean Bradley, and Just Kimmy popped out the bushes, y'all. If y'all ain't know, Just Kimmy was like, let me pop on down here and let me say something. And she hit the link the first time I heard her. I don't know if she hit it again. I didn't get a chance to go back and rewatch. But she said, I was never a mod for Sean Bradley. Because we all know Sean Bradley's main mod. Who is Sean Bradley's main mod? Can everybody tell me? I know who it is. Leo the Lioness. Am I wrong, right? Leo has always been Sean Bradley's main mod. Now, one day, that's what Pizza said, one day, Miss Leo was not in there and he had a bunch of trolls coming in and he couldn't set it to subscriber mode. So, in that same live, hey Jay Dizzle, good morning. Good morning. How you doing? So in that instance, Pizza said he made me a mod for one time only. It was not for me to be a mod all the time. It was just because Miss Leah wasn't in there, right? And she said that and whatnot. And then, people was saying, that's what people was saying. Miss Hershey, they was sitting there saying that you got the history wrong. Now I wish that Mother wasn't live at the time because y'all all know that Mother is the best at giving us history lessons. Between Mother and Jay Dizzle, they the ones that could give us some history lessons. They be remembering everything. I swear, they be remembering everything. I'm over here. I've been here the whole time, and I ain't trying to act like I remember everything. Because here's the thing: I didn't even try to act like I remembered that specific section. Now I do know that Mrs. Intel used to be called Pizarro. That's why we all call her Pizza, right? She used to do call-ins. That's what we remember her from, right? When she used to, you remember when she used to call in, right? We used to have those call-ins way back in the day. Now, me and Mrs. Intel were in separate camps. I do not pretend to know everything that happened in Club Chat or Babe Nation, right? I was in a separate camp. And back then, the way the camps was made up, you didn't really go mess around with the other camps, if you get what I mean. So you may not know everything that happened in Club Chat if you were in another camp. You may not know everything that happened in Babe Nation if you were in another camp. Or you may not know what happened in TSCC if you were in another camp. You see what I'm saying? So, when it comes to history wise, the only people that are perfectly up to date on some of that are the people who could move around without being in a camp. Now, everybody knows I'm not wrong about that, right? But we knew of each other, right? I knew of a lot of folks, right? And that was back in the day when I used to give Ms. Intel the heck for not popping up on camera, if y'all remember that. Because back in the day, if you didn't get on camera, right, you would get run out of this sector. Things have changed. You know what I'm saying? But back then, it was a lot tougher. It was a lot stricter. A lot of things where nowadays, like, me and YouTube cameras is cool, right? But somebody that I like doesn't like her and vice versa, right? They don't like each other. Back in the day, that would have been a thing, right? But in today's world, in today's beef sector, we can all move around more freely. It's a lot different than it used to be, right? Used to be, beef sector was a lot different. These new subscribers do not understand how the old beef sector used to be. You didn't just move around. There was very select few people who could actually do that and get away with it. Very select few people. We know who those people are. I bet you can name a bunch of them, right? You didn't just go around and act like you was a free agent back then like you can now. It's a lot different, especially if you were a part of a camp. Now, if you wasn't a part of a camp, that was different, you can move around. But if they caught you talking mess in one chat and then you try to pop to another chat, your butt would get blocked with a quickness. Tell me I'm wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you got caught being in the amen section back in the day, you would get blocked. You know what I'm saying? Nowadays, it's a little different. So that's something that happened on Mrs. Bizarro's, right? Now, I did go up there and catch Lemon, right? I also caught some of the Buddy Lee stuff. They were talking about Just Krista, and they were talking about Just Krista being with ZX, and, they added Buddy Lee to the list. The list is Classic Lights, Buddy Lee, under new management. Of course, they always add TC. Poor TC, she ain't never going to be able to get away. And she's like, I just don't want to be talked about no more. Good morning, Ray Black. You know what I'm saying? TC is a little bit different, She's like, I don't want to be talked about no more. Shoot, I know they all in drama, but I ain't. But they were talking about that last night. And then Just Krista had a live. And I don't know if y'all saw Just Krista actually, I think, did 2 lives. I only saw one of them because I was asleep on. I think she did a secondary one. I think I was in bed. I went to bed pretty early last night. I'm still sick, so I missed a lot. I didn't even get to see Taylor Port Tuesday, and it's like I did the thing where I was, skipping around trying to make sure I got everything, or at least trying to, because I was asleep during Taylor Port Tuesday. I was in bed. But, what we had going on, what I saw in Just Christmas. Now, I will say, at the hood table, we had a little kerfuffle yesterday, and I'm going to talk about it. Now, Intrinsic says she was trolling yesterday. That's what Intrinsic said. And I said, fine, if you're trolling, good morning, Sassy Francis. If you're trolling, that's fine. Do you, boo-boo, I don't care. But I do not like slick shade. I want you to, if you're going to come at me, say my name. If you're going to talk about me, say my name. Put a name on it. Don't slick shade me and think you cute and I'm not going to call it out. Because here's the thing about me. I am very easygoing. I'm a not above reproach. If you and me got a problem and you want to talk about it, I will talk to you about it as a grown woman. We can talk about it. We can have a grown woman conversation. As far as I knew, neither myself, the Hood Table, or Creole had a problem with any party involved, right? So even if you had talked about the Hood Table or Creole, I would have said the same thing. That's what you don't understand. You can say, well, the guilty dog barks. No, baby, let me explain something to you. I would have said the same thing for Creole and the Hood Table because I don't like it when people try to involve innocent people in beef that they do not deserve, right? Now, if you are two grown adults and you have beef and you're going back and forth, that's fine. But when you try to involve an innocent, that becomes bullying. That becomes slick shade. I don't like that stuff. I am the anti bully, and I will tell you that. You are not going to, hey, Miss Jean, good morning. You are not going to add innocent people to your bull mess. You understand me? Hey, Miss Queen Diva. And I will jump off the porch for innocent people when they've done nothing wrong. I will do that. That's just the type of person I am. I don't like to see nobody bully another person that does not deserve it. And neither myself, nor Creole, nor the Hood Table deserve that slick shade. And even if you was trolling and think it was funny, you don't troll innocent people that have nothing to do with your mess. What you and Lolo got going is y'all stuff. What you and Diva got going, that's y'all stuff, right? I know Diva can handle herself. I know that Lolo can handle herself. She's a grown woman, right? But when you start adding in innocent people who have nothing to do with the situation, yeah, then I got a problem because you could have been talking about any one of us. I wanted you to put a name on it. I asked 15 times, even while you was up there. I was trying to get a word in edgewise. I could not because y'all were woo banging, right? I did try to say it over top of everybody else. Put a name on it. Who's the third? Who's the third? I said it in the back chat. I said it in the main chat. And you were there when I said that. Who's the third person? I want to know who you're talking to. And even if you had been talking to Creole or the Hood Table, I still would have said the same thing. It would have been no different. You said you was trolling, so I'm going to ignore you. But if you come out here and decide you want to talk bull mess and you want to start stuff for no apparent reason and try to force a fake beef, I'm going to come back and say something. I'm not the person to sit there and sit quietly. Now, I will let two people woo bang that are woo banging. Point blank, period. They're two grown ups. They can handle themselves. Right? They are grown ups. They can handle themselves. But what you're not going to do is attack innocent people in front of me. And that's what it felt like to me. So to you, you might have felt like you were trolling, right? But to me, I felt like you were slick shading innocent people. And I don't like that. And I'm going to take up for somebody who I feel like you doing that too, because I was just in call out, well, Creole ain't did nothing, the Hood Table ain't did nothing, I ain't did nothing. So what you talking about? And I did say that. So that's what I'm telling you. Okay, and also on the Hood Table, right? Right after we got off the Hood Table, we went over there to Just Christus, right? I went over there to Just Christus. Then, after, Intrinsic said she was trolling or whatnot, then Miss Diva Tomboyish jumps up there. Y'all, I'm going to say this. I was hiding in the bushes, child. I was hiding in the bushes because I do not like to bother Miss Diva Tomboyish. I ain't doing it. I ain't poking the bear. I'm smarter than that. But hey, you got to give just Chris a little credit. She wasn't scared by any means necessary, but I'm like, maybe you should be. But there was people in the chat that was woo banging for Krista. There was people in the chat saying they wasn't in it. They like Bennett. They ain't in it. Okay. Because they don't want to get between two content creators that they both like and they're both woo banging with each other. So the best bet, what we do, you know what I'm saying? When two people we like are woo banging, we stay out of it. Good morning, Miss Catherine. We stay out of it, right? We stay out of all that mess, all that bull mess. All right. So I did see that. They did their little woo banging. And then Lemon popped up. on JC's, right? And I was like, oh snap, Lemon's actually awake right now. I thought he was asleep, y'all. And he popped up there and whatnot, and they had a little conversation and everything else, right? And then I go over to Buddy Lee's, and he's talking about Just Krista, right? And I went over there and I stayed there for a while. And then I had the tab playing in the background, so I couldn't red ball when Lemon popped up there. So I missed that part, and it really sucks. I got to go back and rewatch it, but I did hear about it, right? Because we all hear about the bull mess when it happens. I was over at Mother's at that time and trying to listen. I was trying to listen to 4 different lives at one time. Everybody decided to go live at the same time. Now, also on YouTube cameras this morning, because I didn't get to watch Jay Wilson, I was asleep. Again, I was asleep, right? I heard about Lovely Love and everybody seeing her full frontal. I heard about that, right? I heard that the video was left up for a few hours on accident. That, basically Lovely Love was showing her apartment, and when she panned in the bathroom, you know how mirrors are, they catch you. Well, they caught her with a full frontal. Bush and all. Everything. Seen. Everybody saw, and people are passing it around. I haven't seen it, Lovely Love, and I don't you dare send me that damn picture. Don't do it. I don't want it. I don't want to see it. I don't want, I do not want to see. Miss Catherine, you was in the chat. I'm going to pray for you, honey. I do not want to see nobody's cuckoo cat, okay? I'm good. I'm good not thinking about it, okay? Hey, Montrese, good morning. Miss Catherine, I'm going to pray for your eyes. Okay, some people were saying that it happened so quick. This is what I can ask you, Miss Catherine. Some people were saying that it happened so quick that some people didn't see it, but others caught it because they paused it. Was it she stood there for a minute and y'all could see everything, or was it a pan and an accident? Like, when you pan around real fast and you don't think somebody can see something, but they see something. What he can do, Miss Catherine, is he can go through there and edit out that section and repost the video. Because I'm going to give you some, Jay Wilson, if you're in my clouds, listen, the reason you should do it that way, because people are going to go back and they're going to try to see if you left that in, and that's going to give you more views on that video. So, shh. See, that's what I heard too, that she was showing her bathroom, right? She was showing her bathroom. It was like a pan, and it was accidental, obviously. And some people said she stood there too long, and some people said it went real quick. So you had to pause it to see it. Yeah, that's right. That's right, Ray. I have my own to look at. I don't need to see nobody else's cuckoo cat. I got my own child. If I want to see one, I can go look in the mirror right now. I'm good. I don't need to see nobody else's. I don't want to see nobody's news, because no, thank you. But that's something happened. Then over on Lemons. Now I saw Dragons get up there talking to Lemon, right? I saw Dragons talking to Lemon. I was like, wait a minute. Yesterday I reported that no, y'all ain't cool because you did a live after his live that I didn't see, and you were still woo banging with him, and now y'all cool again. What the bull mess? Okay, y'all need to figure out if y'all woo banging or not. Well, no, they cannot strike it if he edits out that part. If he edits out the part where it shows her full bush, and he edits out that specific part and deletes that part out of the video, and he can do that, they can't, even if they tried to report that video, it's not going to go through because there's nothing in the video. You see what I'm saying, Miss Catherine? But people are going to go back and watch it and give him views thinking they're going to catch that part. You see what I'm saying? What you do is you go back through and you edit that part out and delete it. You delete that section. That's like if you get orange bombed, right? If you get orange bombed, go back, put it on private real quick, like go in, edit that part out real fast, and you can re-upload it. You get what I'm saying? You can re-upload that specific, and as long as you take out the part that is bad, right, and you re-upload it, if somebody does try to strike it, saying from this time frame, say, no ma'am, no sir, that was something that somebody did to me. I edited it out. I stopped the live right away. I am completely compliant with YouTube guidelines. Somebody orange bombed me and I cut it out, right? I cut it out. It's not in the video. Go have a look for yourself. You can do that. You know what I'm saying? And if he has a flag or 2 flags within the last 30 days, I would say delete it. Don't even worry about it. None of that stuff, because a 3rd flag means the channel goes down, right? A 3rd one. And if it goes through, I would say that. But he can edit that part out, Miss Catherine, and re-upload, and there's nothing they can do about it. Even if they try to flag him, it's not going to go through, because when YouTube goes back through and looks at that video, and the minute mark these people try to say it's X, they have to give the minute mark. You know what I'm saying? And they go back through that video and look at it and it's not there, they can get got for false flagging. False flagging is a thing. I'm going to give y'all all the YouTube guidelines right now. Do not false flag people, because it can get your channel taken. Do not do it. And this is a warning. It's against YouTube guidelines to false flag someone. That is against guidelines. To entice anyone to do that is also against YouTube guidelines. Make sure you stay within the guidelines, so not only are you protecting your channel, but those of others of your friends. Please do not try to think that you're doing that and you're going to get somebody taken down, because you can all lose your channels. I'm just saying, make sure you don't do that. It's against guidelines. Stay within YouTube guidelines. Okay? Just saying. I'm just trying to help the folks out. You know what I'm saying? See, now that he could have fought, because there's no way they could take it if he edited it out. He could have fought that, Miss Catherine. He could have fought that, unless it was different. Now, if he had 3 strikes already, or 2 strikes that actually went through, and he didn't, that's why you should always, if you get a strike, you should always, 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 always fight it. Always. If you know you're in the right, fight it. Because, let me explain why. If you get the 3rd one, you will be gone. See, there's some things behind that, Miss Catherine, that maybe you don't know. I'm not sure. But on the 3rd time, they'll take it within a short amount of time. Now, if the first 2 went through, and it can't be for the same video, if that makes sense. It has to be separate instances, 3 times and you're out, right? That's what the thing does. But he would have had to already known about them. That's why I am going to create, this is news, a backup channel. Because if you get the first one, and I'm not trying to get one, I'm trying to stay within guidelines, but sometimes we all make mistakes, right? You don't go live on your main channel whatsoever. Because you got to let that strike go away. Or if you get 2 more, they will take your channel. Well, if that was his only time, they had to have done it while he was live, and he had to have left it up too long, if that makes sense. You should drop it immediately. Immediately. Right? Now, you can go back and edit that part out and repost it. But you have to act as if it's a new video, if that makes sense. Even though it was a past live stream. And, it depends on the situation too and what happened. Because, Miss Catherine, I'm not sure what happened during that part for him. Was it somebody who was orange bombing him, or was it, a situation where something was said that may have been against guidelines? Because it depends on the situation. Because I have seen them now. If you stay live past the orange bomb, right? And they have enough chance to do it right then and there, and you do not end the live right away. Right away. I mean, right away. They did it during a live. See, what the person did was, this is why they got him. they had intention the minute they orange bombed him of reporting, right? They had their finger on the button, and they had the minute mark because they're the ones who did it, right? They knew exactly when they were going to do it. They turned that in, and if he stayed live longer than 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes without popping it down, even if he caught it and dropped them, right? And he stayed live longer, right? And it was where you could red ball back, even if you can't. YouTube can still red ball and go back and see it. If you ever, this is to any CC out there, if you ever get orange bombed, always, always, always use your banner. But let's say it's an accident and it happens to you. Right then in the live, do not play because these people will set you up doing that. End it right there at that exact moment. Do not give it a chance. Go in before you go back live, edit that part out, right? Repost, edit it out right then and there, or delete the video right then and there. Right then and there. And then when you come back live, say, oh my God, somebody come and got me, blah, blah, blah. You know, say the sayings, right? But right then there, do not wait 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, and sure don't wait no hour because that is long enough for them to get you. And if they catch you doing it while live, even if it wasn't your fault, even if you had nothing to do with it, you left it up on your channel. You see what I'm saying? You have to be very vigilant with that stuff. Make sure you take it down right away. I mean, within 2 seconds of you realizing it happened. And edit that part out, delete that part from the video completely. Don't just put it on private, ignore it for a few hours. See, that's another way they can get you. If you put it unlisted or, private, right? And somebody has the link to that video, which means they got it during the live, right? They can still report at that time. And if it's still left in there when YouTube can go look at your unlisted and private videos where others may not. And if somebody has the link to the video, if you unlist it, they can still go see that unlisted video. I don't know if y'all know that, but if you keep the link when you share to a video and it becomes unlisted, that's not private, okay? Unlisted means that only people with the link can see the video. That's what unlisted means, right? But take it down immediately. Right then and there, edit that part out, repost. In the description box of said video, put, someone came on my panel and tried to take down my stream by going against guidelines. I deleted that portion. That was not something that I agreed with. They came on my channel. I did not expect this to happen, blah, 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 right? When YouTube flags it, you have to go do, where you go against the flag, right? And you have to tell them why, right? And when you put that why, make sure you put, I had a guest pop up on my panel. I did not know that they were going to show themselves in a vulgar way, right? I took down the live immediately and deleted that portion of the live right then and there because that was not my doing. That was someone else's. I made sure that I stayed within guidelines. I did not realize a guest that I was inviting was going to go against guidelines. Right? And I'm going to say this to anybody out there. Please stop doing this to these content creators. They work hard for their pages. Okay? Quit orange bombing people. Even if you don't like somebody, what they got to say. Stop that. That's not nice. Y'all know that. Okay. So, anyway, I watched Miss Tiva's live yesterday too, right? I watched Miss Tiva's live. And Miss Tiva and Miss Demetra had got into it. Now, Miss Tiva did say on her live that was going to be her one and done. It don't matter what Miss Demetra says and comes back and says, she's not coming back live about it. That was her one and done and what she had to say, and that was over with for her. You know what I'm saying? Now, I know they won't stop the queen before you. It just breaks my heart to see content creators possibly lose channels because of someone else's doing. You know, you have to fight though, for your channel and for your rights. Fight for your right to party. But anyway, um, as I was stating, it really does break my heart to see people do that to content creators, right? And I am, you know, I did watch the VS Icons live this morning. I'm going to talk about it, and I'm going to give my personal opinions on it, because this one I actually do have a personal opinion on it. Most things I do not have a personal opinion on. Now this specific incident, most of the time I always say VS and her beefs are her beefs. I stay out of it. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's between two grown adults. VS I know can handle herself, and I know the other person can handle themselves. So I usually stay out of things like that. And I usually, you know, and if VS does something wrong, she knows I'm gonna tell her. I'm like, girl, you know you went too far with that one. You know what I'm saying? But on this one, I have my own personal. But anyway, let's get back to Miss Tiva. Now they got into it over there at ODS's. I did not get to see ODS's live because y'all know I've been sick and I was trying to lay down at that time. Then all heck broke loose, and I was trying to be at 50, 1100 different places at one time. Like I was trying to be everywhere at once, and it was just too much. ODS love, I might have to go back and watch your live, sweets. Um, Sorry that I had missed it. You know, I try to catch everybody. Sometimes I can't be everywhere at once. Because I love and genuinely enjoy ODS's lives and ODS himself. You know, ODS can be messy, even when he's messy with me. I enjoy his messiness. Like it's not coming from a place. His messiness doesn't come from a place of um like vitriol. It doesn't come from a bad place, if that makes sense. Like he's not being messy to be hateful towards you or anything like that. It's just he's being messy, and it's funny, and I like it. And you know what I mean? Yeah, I don't like it myself. I will say this right now. I do not like when people call people's jobs. I don't like when people mess with people's homes and their real life. To me, if it's on YouTube, keep it on YouTube. Now, will I curse a person out on the YouTube streets? Yeah, I will. You bother me, you push me into a corner, I'm coming out swinging, right? But I'm never that person that's going to call DHS on you. I'm never that person that's going to call the cops on you. I'm never that person that's going to go behind the scenes and get into your real life. Because to me, these are just words. Say all the words you want to about me. The only way that I would ever have to take it off YouTube is if you forced my hand and I had to do something to protect myself or my family. Right? If you started like coming to my home and stuff like that, well, you know, that's the only way, right? If you're forced to. I could understand it if you're forced to and you have no other options. But just to do that, no. I myself do not take things offline. When I turn off this apparatus, guess what? I'm going to live my life, do my daily stuff, take care of my family, mop my floors, you know, do all the things that I got to do as an individual, right? That's all I do. You know what I'm saying? Like I can understand if you had, let's say somebody was following your child around and you had to take out a protection order to protect your child. That I can understand. You didn't ask for that person to do that. That's but and you didn't start following them around or doing stuff. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to protect what is yours. That I can understand. But I do not take stuff off the YouTube streets. If we just going back and forth and it's words, you can call me all the white bees you want to, baby. You can say what you want to, because those who know me, you can lie. You can say all kind of things. Put all kind of words behind it. That don't make it true, right? That don't make it always true. You can lie, roast, you can do all this, you can call me fat, you can say my teeth crooked. I don't care. I truly do not care. Right? And then I could come back and talk about your teeth, your eyebrows, your so those are words. Words should not affect real life. This is a huge. If you know you losing, just bow out gracefully. That's just my personal opinion on it. Now everybody's got their own. I don't tell nobody else on these streets how to fight. Fight the way you gonna fight. That's your choice. I can't tell you what to do, right? We're all grown-ups in this sector. Every one of us. We all have personal uh, uh actions to take. We all have personal like it's your on thing to do what you gonna do. Do what you gonna do, right? But so that's the part, Miss Tiva and Miss Mitra going at it. I don't exactly know what happened at ODS's. I will drop the link in a little while if anybody wants to tell me what happened on ODS's. But what I had heard was that this beef stems back from a while back, right? And that Miss Mitra said that she don't like Miss Tiva and whatnot. And, that's their thing. That goes between them. But Miss Tiva did say that was one and done. I didn't see if Miss Mitra went live because at that time, right after that situation, like I said, I was watching Buddy Lee, Miss Bizarro, and I was watching Just Krista, and I was watching, I had like 5 lives going at the same time. Mother went live. And Mother, if you in the class, when next time we gonna play bingo? I want to play bingo again. Okay, but now when we talking about what VS went live this morning, right? I love Miss Tiva. I like Miss Tiva myself too. I like Miss Mitra. I'm staying out of day beef. I'm like Bennett and I ain't in it. You know what I'm saying? And I know Miss Tiva can stand on her own 2 toes, child, just like Miss Mitra. And them are 2 grown women who say and do as they please, right? And I'm gonna say this about Miss Tiva. She reminds me of that auntie, right? That gets you together real quick and tell you how she feel. That's what she remind me of sometimes. Like the auntie that don't take no crap and she just gets you together real quick. That's what she remind me of. But I have an auntie like that. But that's what she remind me of. When she's reading somebody or doing something, it's like the auntie that's gathering you together. That's what it feels like to me. Okay, so I'm getting on to VS's live this morning. Now, I did see what Kiki wrote, and I'm gonna say her name, and I don't care. I don't like you. And I'm gonna explain to you why. I have no personal beef with Kiki. And it ain't got nothing to do with VS why I do not like her. It has nothing. VS is a grown woman. VS can handle herself. It's where she tried to mess with that child. I will never be okay with that. She could have gotten him murdered that night. That's when it took it too far for me. All the other antics, all the other stuff, everything else, I could say, it's 2 people beefing. They're fighting the way they want to fight, right? But he was innocently going to work, not bothering a soul. He is not in these YouTube streets. He is an innocent party in this matter, and his life could have been taken if those cops had decided to do something different. And when I see a young man who is trying to do something good in this world, and you try to do something that could take him out of it, he didn't do nothing. No, I ain't got nothing for you, girl. No, not an innocent person. That's where I've always said when an innocent person gets involved, I don't like that stuff. Not when it comes to life or passing away. And I'm sorry, I do not like that. I will never respect you for that. Now, if VS had been by herself, I may have still been a little upset because I know her, but I wouldn't have no problem with you because y'all are 2 grown adults. But when you involve that innocent person, no, I can't do that. But let's talk about the case. That's my personal feelings on it. I don't like her because of that, and that's the main reason. So if anybody ever has a reason why I don't like her, that's it. It ain't got nothing to do with what her and VS got going on. It's got to do with the innocent person, and you could have got him unalive that night. No, ma'am. For him just going to work because y'all got beef. No, ma'am. That's between y'all 2. Y'all grown adults. He wasn't doing nothing wrong to nobody. And yes, I will take up for an innocent child. Even though he's a grown man, he's a child in my eyes, right? He was just going to work. He wasn't bothering a soul. That's where I have a problem. That's where I have my feelings for it. Well, you ain't like her before the VS ish. Yeah, that's Miss Coffee says she ain't like you before the VS ish. That's the point. Like, I don't have a personal beef, right? So I never took it too serious what was going on between them until that night. Right? I was like, they're 2 grown adults, they can beef, whatever. It's just like anybody that VS beefs with. People think that I don't like them because that no. Y'all two grown-ups, y'all can do y'all's thing. Y'all both got mouths. But when you try to get a young man who's just going to work, he had to quit his job and find a new place because you put him in danger. I don't like that. Don't put an innocent young man who's just out on these streets trying to live his life, and he ain't got nothing to do with y'all's beef. But he could have been on Alive that night. He could have been on Alive that night. That's what a lot of people not understand. They're saying, well, VS was stalking Kiki and all this. I've heard that on the streets. Do you realize that everybody knew that VS went to, that's where, I didn't know exactly where he worked, right? But I knew that she picked him up every night from that place. Everybody knew that. So how was she stalking Kiki when she's just going to pick up her child from work? This is before he started driving, right? Everybody knew that. Now, what in the world was she trying to do at a Walmart she knew was closing in 5 minutes? In 5 minutes. And even if she did accidentally go to that, why did she tell the Popo that they had guns in the vehicle, knowing pow-pows in the vehicle, knowing that there was an innocent bystander there? And what if they had gotten bad cops? Thank God. I thank God for that cop that night. Because what if his life had been taken and he wasn't doing nothing but going to work? I don't like that. I don't like that. But, so basically the judgment was in Kiki's favor, right? For the lawsuit to be dropped. Now, I didn't see the transcripts to know whether or not it was dropped with prejudice or without prejudice, right? I didn't see that part. I did not. I didn't see that part. I did not see that part whatsoever. I truly did not. I didn't see the transcripts, so I have not seen that yet. Maybe the Hood Table or somebody will break it down later. I did not see the transcripts, so me, myself, and I don't know, right? But if it was with prejudice, or without, regardless. Okay, here's the thing. What was stated was that VS's 1,000 got thrown out, and Kiki tried to come back for lawyer's fees, which was $8,750 plus $4,000, which comes out to $12,750 that Kiki wanted out of VS. Well, that got thrown out also. So technically, it's just like when we went through the Dovey and Just Read My Book situation. It's a wash. But Kiki's having to pay out more, and VS really didn't have to pay much of a dime. I mean, she may have had to pay some court fees or something, because everybody's got to pay their court fees. But technically, VS only had to pay for her filing fee or something. And if something like that, like gas money, food. But Kiki's having to pay out that and then some. She's having to pay out $12,750 to a lawyer. Now, I will give Kiki a little bit of advice here. Being a civil suit, I don't know if I would have grabbed a lawyer for that and paid that much. You're in small claims court. You're not even in like big court, if that makes sense. I don't know if I would have did it for $12,000. I just paid that little $1,000, said, go on about your business. I don't care anymore. But I mean, if she did it off of her principle, that's her principle. But I ain't paying nobody $12,000 and something dollars over no. I ain't. That's too much. That's a lot of money to be paying somebody. I would have did that the first time, if that makes sense. Like, if you're going to go ahead and do it on the third time, knowing you don't spend all this money on court fees, court cases, all this other stuff, I would have had it paid the first time. Like, I ain't, But that's just all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? I ain't paying no, But I had to say my part on that, because here's the thing. I don't care what two grown adults do. You're both grown adults. You got mouths of your own. You can say what you're going to say and do what you're going to do. You're grown ups, right? You're grown ups. You both got mouths. You both can stand up for yourself. You're beefing, right? You're grown ups. But when you try to involve stuff like that, I do not like when people involve children. That's just like, I do not read children. Children are off limits to me. The dead is off limits to me. Now, this is my personal feelings, right? I can't tell nobody else how to fight. But when you do something like that, I really don't like it. I don't. And I most of the time, I'm not paying attention and I'm not really going to watch that portion of the show, right? Even if I like you as a content creator, if you start doing that, I'm going to ignore that portion of the show. I will tune out. I will go play my video game, put you on mute, come back when you talk about something different. Because I just don't like that. You get what I'm saying? Like, everybody has their personal opinions in this matter. Now, those who like, oh, yes. Also today, if y'all don't know, turn on your notification. VS is doing an interview with DD Dirty. So pay attention to your notifications. She is doing that today. I'm glad to see VS back. I was worried about her. I worry about anybody that disappears for a minute. Like when I saw, who was it the other day that came back for a little while and it really was them and I ain't seen him in years. Oh my goodness, I can't remember right now. I talked about it when I saw her. Like, even Ask April, when Ask April disappeared for a little while, child, I was worried about her. And when I saw her come back on the streets, I was so excited. You know what I'm saying? Like, when people that, they go away for a little while, I worry about them. I do. Some people. Hey, the hood. Hey, why did I just call you the hood table? The Beef Sector Podcast, because the duh got my mind all messed up because I got ADHD and sometimes I read things wrong. But so basically, that's what's going on in the sector right now. Now, the situations between Miss Mitra and Miss Tiva, we'll have to see if Miss Mitra comes back with anything. I know Miss Tiva said she's not coming back with that. The situation with Lemon, Buddy Lee, and JC, that's still an ongoing thing. Although Buddy Lee, I think he's pretty much done with it, y'all. He might use it for content for a little while. We know Buddy Lee. Buddy Lee's a good guy. If y'all haven't watched him, he's hilarious. You got to go watch Buddy Lee. Also, I am trying to get together the money to pay Buddy Lee to be my DJ. So if you would like to, because I'm trying to set up dates and times, a monetization party. If you want to help with the DJ fund, you can cash out me and I'm going to try to, I got to pay my TJ, y'all. You know what I'm saying? And bills is coming up and everything. But, so if you want to donate, this is my cash app here. If you want to donate to the DJ fund, so that we can have a party or whatnot. Because I want to have Buddy Lee as my DJ because he's super amazing. Like, y'all have seen Buddy Lee's work. Y'all know how he is. He's amazing at what he does, right? We all know Buddy Lee is one of the best DJs, okay? Like, we got good DJs, but he's one of the best. Tell me he is not when it comes to DJing. He is, right? I don't know how he does it, but he's amazing. So if you want to donate to the DJ fund for the party, it's $ Charlie N87. That is my cash app. You can put DJ fund at the bottom. Once we reach the goal, if somebody else gives me over what it is, I will send it back if you would like. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just trying to get together the DJ fund, right? For that specific thing. I was watching YouTube cameras this morning. YouTube cameras, girl, over the weekend when you was cussing out dragons and you and dragons was into it, girl, I was like, oh, what? And then the first drag, I didn't know who was in trouble and what had happened. I was like, ooh, child, somebody getting dragged. I don't know who it is, but Lord have mercy. Then I realized that it was dragons. And on the second one, the first one, I don't know who it was. I still ain't figured that one out. But I know it was some people that was talking crap to her. That's all I know. But the second time it was dragons, and she ended up saying and whatnot. and everything, because I didn't know who the first person was, to tell you the goddamn truth. Um, but and then Dragons and Tracy are still into it, right? So we know I've been watching Miss Tracy. I've been in Miss Tracy's clouds, y'all, and stuff like that. Sometimes when I'm running around cleaning and stuff, and Miss Tracy's like even if she don't know I'm there, I'm usually there, Miss Tracy. Um, but Miss Tracy, she's been her and Dragon's been going back and forth. Now I don't know how the Just Krista and Diva tomboyish thing's gonna go, so I'm over here like, ooh, child, I don't know what's gonna happen with this one. But also, for those who may have missed it this last 2 days, 3 days, whatnot, Lolo and Just Krista made up, so they cool again. All right, they cool again right now. Because you know how them two go. 1 minute they be scratching each other's eyes out. Next minute they cool. Then they be scratching each other's eyes out. Then they cool. So right now they cool. Lemon and Just Krista, I don't know where their relationship stands. I do know that Lemon said basically they were just talking. He has said that he is not in a relationship with anyone right now. Right? He said that he is talking to people. That's like getting to know somebody. You know what I'm saying? So he ain't put a label on it that it's a relationship and exclusive and all that other stuff. So that's what I heard. Now, I also heard of that Buddy Lee's that, Classic Lights was over there. Now, I gotta ask this question. Does anybody know where Classic Lights came from? I just saw him pop up and now he's intertwined with Just Krista. He's intertwined with Lemon. He's intertwined with stuff. And I'm like, what? Like, he came out of nowhere, in my opinion. Like, like somebody just pop up and you're like, oh, and they're a part of the beef. That's what I saw. That's what I saw, chat. I'm like, where he come from? I don't know. And then, Mother, Brian has been reading some folks for Fields. I have been saying that. Oh, you saw him first at Buddy Lee's? See, I didn't know where he came from. I just saw him pop up, and it was like, he was in the beef out of nowhere, Miss Tiffany. He was in the beef out of nowhere, in my opinion. It was like, wait, you just started popping up, pop around, and they tried to bring Big Rig into it, yo. Big Rig like, Big Rig like, I ain't part of none of this. Don't y'all involve me. You know what I'm saying? Because here's the story behind the Big Rig situation if y'all hear about it. Okay, Just Krista was over there at Big Rigs, right? And Big Rigs was talking about how StreamYard is now like $45. Well, supposedly, I'm putting allegedly on this, but I kind of heard it, and whatnot. Allegedly, Just Krista sent Big Rigs a cash app to help him with his StreamYard because that stuff is expensive. That's why I went back to regular StreamYard. I'm gonna start looking around at different things and using different things for my stuff, right? But supposedly, she helped Big Rigs out. So people tried to add Big Rigs because she helped him. So now they're like, oh, Just Krista likes Big Rigs like that. And now he's a part of it. And Big Rigs says, no, sir, no, ma'am, I'm not a part of this. Just because somebody was being nice to me, I'm not a part of this. So Big Rigs is like, I want no parts in this. And now, if y'all see me and joking around with Big Rigs in chat, I'm not hitting on Big Rigs. Big Rigs, I look at you as like a brother. Okay? Like you my brother from another mother, we cousins or something, I see you as a great person that you're very supportive of a lot of people in this sector, right? I see you doing nice things. I've never seen you in any kerfuffles or say anything off the wall. Most of what you say is truthful. You don't really read and drag people, right? But I like to joke with Big Rigs because I call him the sexy side profile man because that's what the hood tables say. Like, so it's always my joke with him. Like sometimes I'll joke around with a lot of people. Like me and Ben's now have a joke that if I'm in the bushes, I be hiding in the bushes and peeking outside the bushes, she'll tell me to get out them bushes. I was like, girl, I fell out. They pushed me out. Whoo, child. And you know, my other joke is I always get under the table when the bullets start flying and I got my holy water. So it's just me joking. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna go ahead and drop this link for anybody that may you know, let me go ahead and put up, I gotta put my slide up for my guest banner or whatnot. And I gotta set that up right quick just in case. Cause I am smarter than that. Okay, now let's go back to this one. See, all I have to do now is switch between views. And I'm gonna post this link. Anybody want to pop up here? Why am I trying to chat? I don't even know why I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to invite folk. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go ahead and put this in there. If anybody wants to pop up, let me know maybe something I missed. If in case, I'm gonna go over here and make sure I pin this message when it pops up. And if y'all could please like, share the video. Thank you to all those who already have. Thank you for being here. I just got to say all my thank yous. You know me. Is that not? Let me refresh, y'all. Let me refresh. I like how my ad just then that when I refreshed was one of my good old video games. Why is it not popping up in the chat, y'all? Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. Let me pin this message. All right. So that's pinned. That's good. All right. So we good on that. Can everybody still hear me good? All right. I was just making sure. Oh my God, y'all. If I didn't just pull a thing that them other people, and then I'd be saying, oh my God. Anyway. Hey, Creole. Good morning, beauty. How you doing on this lovely fine morning? My sister from another mister. But yeah, so also Creole is trying to get her watch hours. She's real close for her watch hours, right? She has a playlist put together. I'm gonna go ahead and go over there and go find that playlist. And I'm gonna share you the link to it so that you know. Let me go get that playlist link. If y'all could put this in y'all's background and just let it play, um, you know what I'm saying? If y'all could just let it play in the background, it'll help her get her watch hours because that's what she's trying to get right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that back there. So I did that to make sure. Thank you so much to my beautiful moderators on this glorious morning, on this Wellness Wednesday. You know, with the situation, I do have the link pinned. If anybody wants to pop up throughout the live, you're more than welcome to. My channel is, you know, we just chill over here. We talk about the mess, but we ain't in the mess. We try not to be a part of it. And it's all respect over here. And if you got something to say about something I said, you can also pop up and tell me to my face if you got a problem. Because not all the times am I going to be able to see everything that everybody does. So I might miss if you read me because I'm watching somebody else dealing with something else, you know, might be taking care of something, you know. So on this Wellness Wednesday, do y'all have any specifics that you would like to talk about? If not, I figure we'll move on to you know, talking about wellness. And since we having a lot of the issues with mental health awareness this week, we might be talking about mental health awareness. We could also talk about, you know, maybe something that is going on that you might want to share to the world about, you know, wellness that you don't think the people know about. Let me get my coffee right quick. Did y'all get y'all's coffee and take y'all a little sippy sip? And if you can't drink coffee, that's okay. Get you some tea, get you some cocoa, drink you a little milk. Maybe you know, you like drinking pops in the morning. Maybe you like having something like that. You know what I mean? But let's say, oh, also, since this is October still, and I ain't missed it. Um, if I'm not mistaken, October is breast care awareness month. All right. So with breast care awareness, right, we want to make sure all the ladies know, get your tatas checked, do self checks at home, and keep an eye on the boobies. Because for us ladies, we had to have that checked. And also, a lot of people don't know that breast cancer is also attached when you have it or have had it. It can also, you have to keep your up on your pap smears, because a lot of people don't know that cervical cancer and breast cancer sometimes are like two peas in a pod. So if you've ever had you know breast cancer or anything like that, you can also get the cells within um you know your cervix. So get your cervix tested. Make sure you have a pap smear done at least once a year, and if you're at a higher risk, at least every 6 months. Same thing for your boobies. If you are at a higher risk, please get tested more often than not. Most of the time, if you don't have a family history of breast cancer, it's like I think it's like every so many years. But if you have a possibility of getting it because you have a family history or something like that, you're supposed to do it every 6 months or every year. Because, with us, 1 in 8 women, this is the same, 1 in 8 women will get diagnosed this year or next year or whatever year with breast cancer, right? And early detection is key. The earliest they can catch it, right, is key. It is key to saving women's lives, right? So please stay on top of your health. We're going to, we're going to look at the checklist or whatnot. All right. I'm going to share screen and we're going to talk about it, because I just thought about this being Breast Care Awareness Month and not a lot of women maybe know. Um, it is also DV Awareness Month, HIV Awareness Month, um, Spanish Heritage Month, and Pastor Appreciation Month. So make sure you tell your pastor today that you love your pastor. Okay. Make sure that, we need to look into these things. DV is a real thing that that a lot of us go through, men and women, right? I'm going to say this, and this goes for all relationships. Me and Duchess Kelly Love was talking about this not too long ago. And shout out to Duchess if you're in the clouds and you over there, at work and whatnot. You have 3 options. Me and Duchess were talking about, the key things that you need for a relationship: trust, love, communication. Because he said the 5 key points: um, trust, love, communication. Um, dang it, Duchess, I can't for the life of me. But anyway, communication is the hugest thing in most relationships, whether it be a friendship or a relationship. Communication is key. Uh, Ananda Lewis just announced that she has breast cancer. Yeah, that's prayers going up for her. Prayers going up for her, because I'm gonna tell you something. That is not an easy thing. I had a best friend who got breast cancer after she gave birth to her child, and this is how she found out about it. She had stage 3 or 4. They didn't expect her to live through it. Let's just say it this way. She had a double mastectomy, and she had to take experimental treatments just to live through it. In fact, at the time, she had to sign paperwork of who her kid was going to go to and all this other stuff. There was a lot that happened with that situation. Um, and just a few years ago, she had to have a hysterectomy because they found cells within her cervix. because that's the thing. Will Smith's sister-in-law. Yeah, Will Smith's sister-in-law just announced that she has breast cancer. So we're going to pray for her and anybody out there that may or may not have had to deal with this in the past. Any survivor, thank God you're still here with us. So we're going to look at some of the things that have to deal with breast care awareness, right? We're gonna, I figured on this Wellness Wednesday, I was thinking about which topics to speak about. At first, I was thinking about talking about mental health because we've been seeing a lot of people on these streets that may or may not need to go to therapy. I'm not a doctor, so I'm not diagnosing anybody with anything. Make that disclaimer right now. I am not a medical professional, and I cannot medically tell you have anything. What I can do is point you towards the resources that may help you in your future endeavors. Okay? So what I'm going to screen share right now is we're going to look at this ebook, right? This is from the National Breast Cancer Foundation, okay, from their website. Most asked questions about breast cancer reoccurrence. See, there's a reoccurrence that can happen. A lot of people don't know that. The risk of reoccurrence, local versus distant reoccurrence, treatment options, hormone therapy, follow-up care. See, you even after you become a survivor, you still have to go get checked, right? You still have to go get checked. You still have to do that, you know. So I'm going to there are different forms also of breast cancer, and males, let me explain something to you males out there. You can get breast cancer. Please do self checks. They may not check you as much as women, but males can get breast cancer too. Contrary to popular belief, is it more prevalent in women? Yes, it is more prevalent in women, but men, you can get it too. Anybody who has any form of breast tissue can get breast cancer. Now, would it look different? See, I want to make sure that our men know this. All people, male or female, can get breast cancer. Now, male breast cancer is very rare, accounting for less than 1% of all breast cancer diagnoses in the United States. While it is very rare, please, men, make sure you don't have any lumps, any growths on your chesticles. You know what I'm saying? And if you do, go to the doctor. Don't say, "Oh, it'll go away," because a lot of men ignore signs and symptoms when they have health issues. But men, you can get breast cancer too. It's not just for women, right? So please do self checks on yourself. Learn, what and how a male can get it. Male breast cancer represents about 1% of all breast cancer diagnoses. In 2024, about 2,800 men will be diagnosed with breast cancer in the United States. About 530 U.S. men will pass away from breast cancer. Male breast cancer is typically diagnosed between the ages of 60 to 70. The average of men diagnosed with breast cancer in the United States is 67. The average lifetime risk of male breast cancer is about 1 in 726. Male breast cancer is 100 times less common among white men than it is among white women. Male breast cancer is 70 times less common for black men than black women. It still does not mean that you cannot get it. Understand that. It is rare, but that doesn't mean it's not possible. So I want you to know, what is breast cancer? Like, what are the most common symptoms of male breast cancer? We're going to go through this. A lump, with or without pain, that feels like a knot or hard pebble. Lumps can be located right under or around the nipple or in the armpit area. See, a lot of people forget that it can be in the armpit area, and they don't check that area. Pain in the nipple or breast area, changes in breast skin, including dimpling, puckering, or redness, change in breast or shape or size. nipple discharge, a rash or sore on the nipple or areola, nipple turning inward, inverted nipple. Breast cancer in men is usually detected as a hard lump underneath the nipple or areola, which is often found by men while in the shower. It is most common for men to delay reporting the lump to a physician, which can result in the patient being diagnosed at a later stage when the cancer is hard to treat. It is important to contact a healthcare professional immediately if you detect any of these changes in the breast tissue or surrounding area. Um, Male breast cancer types. The most common types of male breast cancer include invasive ductal carcinoma, also known as the infiltrate ductal carcinoma. The invasive type of male breast cancer occurs when cancerous cells spread beyond the milk ducts into the other parts of the breast tissue or other parts of the body. It is most common type of breast cancer for both men and women. Ductal carcinoma in situ. DCIS is a non-invasive type of breast cancer where abnormal cells are found in the lining of the milk duct. The earliest breast cancer stages are known as carcinoma in situ, which means cancer in the original place, or breast cancer that is not spread to other areas. The forms of breast cancer is highly treatable in this early stage. When male breast cancer is diagnosed, it will be given a cancer type and stage. The stage of the breast cancer indicates how far the cancer has spread and how much the cancer exists within the body. This information also informs male breast cancer treatment plans. Stage 0, male breast cancer that is non-invasive and has not spread beyond the milk ducts. This stage includes ductal carcinoma in situ, DCIS. Stage 1, these relatively early types of male breast cancer have either not spread to the lymph nodes or there is a very small spread in the sentinel lymph node, which is the first node cancer typically reaches. Stage 2, this is more advanced form of breast cancer would spread to additional lymph nodes. Stage 3, the cancer has spread out of the breast tissue into a nearby lymph node and is more advanced stage. Stage 4, also known as metastatic breast cancer. This advanced form of breast cancer involves spread to other parts of the body, often to the bones, brain, liver, or lungs. These stages are based on the factors including the size of the tumor, spread to the lymph nodes, or other distant sites. If you have a family history, if any of your sisters, mothers, cousins, have had breast cancer, please, as a male, pay attention. Females, same thing. If you are at a higher risk factor, please really pay attention. So if you have any kind of testicular conditions, liver, obesity, smoking, drinking, you're at a higher risk. Do self-care and self-check, because this disease doesn't just affect women. Yes, it is primarily affecting women, but it also does affect men. I want everyone who watches this today, right, to please pay attention. This is Breast Care Awareness Month. Please get yourself checked. If you're at a higher risk, early detection is key, because if they catch it early in like stage 0, stage 1, your treatment is going to not be as invasive as if they catch it when it's later, right? Like I said, I had a best friend who was a survivor. She had stage 4, stage 5. Hers had spread. She had to have both of her breasts removed. The way she found out is she was breastfeeding her daughter, right? But her nipples started bleeding and stuff. So she at first thought it might have been like, oh, maybe I got an infection of the milk duct. Maybe my daughter, maybe something's not, she didn't think about it at first. At first, she thought it was like she had some kind of infection in the milk duct. In fact, she got misdiagnosed with that at first when she went to the ER. They gave her medication, they gave her antibiotics for it, and sent her home, right? But it continually, like, her boobs started getting real hard, and there was fever in it, and it was really bad, and she started having blood coming out of her, her nipple, right? So she went to the doctor, and they knew something was wrong, and that's when they finally figured out it was stage 5. It had spread. She ended up having to have a double mastectomy, completely wiping out all tissue. She ended up having to go through specialized treatment. She went through chemo, radiation, and she ended up doing one of the trials because the chemo and radiation didn't take it all out, right? So she ended up going through a trial. Now I will say, because of that, her teeth, right? She had problems with her teeth wanting to rotten early. She had problems with her body aging more than it should, right? So if you see someone that maybe has went through this, please don't make fun of them for the things that they're having to go through. If they're still here, they fought to be here. You have no idea what all they went through just to be here on this earth. She went through a lot, but um, you know, every one of us can say that we at least know one person who is a survivor, right? Whether it be somebody that's really close to us, or a friend of a friend, or a coworker. I'm pretty sure that 90% of us know someone who has, is a survivor. Even on these YouTube streets, we know people who are survivors within this sector, right? Of breast care awareness. We know this. It's a thing. It's more common than what we would like it to be, right? We know how many, like, my mom got tested and I do not have a family history of it, but I still get myself checked. Hey, Miss Tracy. But this is Breast Care Awareness Month, so I want to bring awareness to the forms of different what's going on with breast care awareness and all this. The reason that I bring up male breast cancer is because a lot of men don't think they can get certain things, and I want men to be able to protect themselves too, right? A change in how this is some of the things, when you do your self check, right? Your self exams, make sure you do your self exams at home. And I want to show what a self exam, what you should be doing on a self exam before we talk about the other, things. We're going to play this video right quick.
Becoming familiar with your breasts and knowing what is normal for you will help you detect changes or abnormalities if they occur. This is breast health awareness. The initial sign of breast cancer may involve a new lump or change in the breast, a new nipple inversion, an area of significant irritation or redness, dimpling or thickening of the breast skin, and persistent breast pain or discomfort are reasons to seek prompt medical evaluation. A self-breast exam is an examination of the breasts for changes or abnormalities. A self-breast exam should be performed monthly, and any changes or abnormalities should be discussed with your doctor or physician. For more information about how to perform a self-breast exam, please visit nbcf.org. A clinical breast exam is an exam performed by a qualified nurse or doctor. They will check for lumps or other physical changes in the breast. The goal is to detect breast cancer in its earliest stages, either by evaluating the patient's symptoms or finding breast abnormalities. Having a regularly scheduled mammogram, the standard diagnostic scan, is especially important. A mammogram is an X-ray. The breast is exposed to a small dose of iodizing radiation that produces an image of the breast tissue. If your mammogram or a clinical exam detects a suspicious site, further investigation is always necessary. Although lumps are usually non-cancerous, the only way to be certain is to obtain additional tests, such as an ultrasound. If a solid mass appears on the ultrasound, your radiologist may recommend a biopsy, a procedure in which cells are removed from a suspicious area to check for the presence of cancer. Because early detection is so vital, the National Breast Cancer Foundation offers women the Early Detection Plan, an online tool that helps remind you to schedule a self-breast exam, clinical breast exam, and mammogram. Because of the demands of everyday life, it's easy to forget or even fear these exams, which is why this program exists. You can subscribe to receive alerts by email, text message, and even through an RSS feed of the breast tissue. An ultrasound is a scan that uses sound waves to paint a picture of what's going on inside of the body. Ultrasounds are helpful.
That is some of the things that all of us should know, right? Is that you get, exams, right? But when you do a self exam, right, you take your hand, right, and you check around the areola first and start moving outward, right? In clockwise motion, you check under the arm, you feel for anything that changes within the breast, right? You got to also make sure you raise up your arm, right? Um, and you should. It says for women still menstruating, a breast self exam should be performed a few days after her periods ends. For those who are postmenopausal, dang, I can't even speak this morning, y'all. A breast self exam should be performed on the same day each month, such as the 1st or the 15th. While mammograms can also help you detect cancer before you can feel a lump, breast self exams help you to be familiar with how your breasts normally look and feel. Alert your healthcare professional if you notice any changes in your breast, such as a new lump, sore spot, changes in appearance of the skin, or nipple discharge. Um, Breast cancer can't usually be prevented, but you can take 3 important steps to detect it early. Um, and usually women do it in the shower. With the pads or the flat of your 3 fingers, check the entire breast and armpit area, pressing down with light, medium, and firm pressure. Check both breasts each month, feeling for any new lumps, thickening or hardening knots, or any other breast changes. In front of a mirror with your arms at your side, visually inspect your breasts. Look for any changes in the contour or shape, any dimpling, swelling, or other skin irregularities on or around your breast, or any changes in the nipple. Next, rest your palms flat on your hips and press firmly to flex your chest muscles. Look for any dimpling, puckering, or other changes, particularly on one side. Note that the left and right breast will not exactly match. Few women's breasts are perfectly symmetrical. Lying down, when you lie down, the breast tissue spreads out evenly along the chest wall. Place a pillow under your right shoulder and put your right arm behind your head. Using your left hand, move the pads of your 3 middle fingers around your right breast, covering the entire breast and armpit. Use light, medium, and firm pressure to feel for any new lumps, thickening, hardening knots, or any other breast changes. Also, squeeze the nipple to check for discharge. Repeat these steps on your left breast. Not all the time does a self, check, make sure, but it is a thing that you should do. You should still get a mammogram. They say at least when you're, young, they say, I think it's, let me see, make sure I'm right for the mammogram, because they have a specific thing to state for the mammogram, right? Many women encounter barriers when trying to schedule mammograms, often things concerning cost, blah, blah, blah. I want to know. Women 40 and older should have mammograms every 1 to 2 years. So if you're under 40, you should still get a mammogram, but it's only every so many years. But if you have risk factors and stuff like that, you should schedule it closer, right? Let's say you're really, 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 really young. See, that's the point that I'm saying. Like, a lot of young women also don't know that they should have this done. I'm just saying that, a lot of us should. Make sure you please do. Good morning, Tay Bay. Uh, I thank you for popping on through. So that's a whole thing. You should get your breasticles checked. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that you take care of yourself, you know, and keep an eye on if something looks off to you, even for men, right? Um, if you for the HIV, the 3 letters for the people who have to deal with that, make sure that, for prevention for yourself from others, right? Make sure that you do not share needles. Make sure that you get tested regularly. That's a preventative measure. If you know someone who has it and you are being active with them, make sure that they are on the medications to make it undetectable and use condoms. That is your best way to try to prevent it. Now, I'm not saying it's going to completely prevent it. Now, we do know with STD Gate that happened a couple of months ago, everybody was giving to everybody, and everybody and their mama was giving out trichomonas like it was candy. So, just be cautious of things, right? Pay attention if your body starts showing signs or symptoms of something that's off. Go to your doctor, get your checkups, get your blood work, all those lovely things. If you're in a domestic violence relationship, please understand that you need to get out. It's not going to change. As someone who was in a DV situation, sort of, kind of, I have to explain that one. I was with an alcoholic for 3 years. You know what I'm saying? I did get out. I was with someone who was verbally and mentally abusive, tried to be physical, but was too afraid I'll knock his teeth out. He tried. If I had been in a, and he has done it to others since we broke up, he would have tried it with me. But he did raise his hand back one time, and I told him, please do, because when you do, it's going to be my turn, and I'm going to do everything in my power to hurt. He was one of those ones that was a little too afraid of me. I'm not saying that's every situation that's a thing, but for me, that was my situation, right? But if you're in one of those situations, please, for the love of God, go get help. Please, for the love of God, find a way out. And I know, here's the thing. If you can't have one person, if you don't have one person to tell, don't tell anybody if you're getting out. Because a lot of times we've seen this in the news, he says, well, if I can't have you, nobody can, kind of situation, if you get what I mean. There are numbers that you can call. In fact, I'm going to look that up right now. And you can get help in your area. Please don't think it's going to change. And that it's going to go, that he's like, I'm sorry, I'll never it again. Baby, he is going to do it again. He will. He's not going to change. If he's putting his hands on you, or even a male, please, males, do not let the women in your life put their hands on you like that. Do you know, I was watching a video the other day of this guy, and it was a True Blue video, and the cops got called, and they thought he was this big hulking man. They thought he was the one that was domestic towards her. No, it was the opposite way, right? They asked her, oh, are you okay? Are you okay? Right? They had to come back in a few hours. He is no longer with us because of that. She unalived him. She stabbied him, and he's no longer with us. So, men and women both get into domestic violence, DV situations. And a lot of men are too afraid to even say anything about it. Right? A lot of men don't report, or don't think, well, a lot of people will say, how does a man get in that? Can't he take care of himself? Can't he do that? Men can be beat down by women just as much as men can be beat down, vice versa. It can go both ways. Men can be in DV situations, and sometimes they don't even realize it until it's too late. The same thing for women. Men, if you are in it, women, or if you are in it, please know that the person's not going to change no matter how much you love them. Get out of the situation, because usually it winds up in a bad situation. Good morning, Miss LaKendra. Please get out of DV situations. I know also that you have to do it in a specific way. That's why right now I'm looking up the you can look up in your area shelters and things, and they have different ways to help. And it is hard for a lot of men and a lot of women to get out of these situations. I understand that. And until you're in it, you won't understand, right? Or you've been in it yourself. and you always think, oh, they're going to change, this, and you try to excuse away the abuse and all this other stuff. But I promise you, life is so much better out of that situation for you and your family. And I'll say this, if you have one of the ones that could possibly take you and your children's life, please get restraining orders. If you have to move out of state and go underground, do what's best for you and your family. Staying there is not going to help, because either way it will 9 times out of 10 wind up in the situation that we see in these courts all the time, of people not being with us anymore, right? So this month is we have mental health awareness, we have domestic violence awareness, HIV awareness. Please make sure you take care of your health, because your health is your wealth. I want everybody to do that. Now, when we talk about the mess, I think that everyone should speak up, James and Co. I think if you're in that situation, even if you feel like you can't speak up, like a lot of times we suffer in silence when it comes to DV situations, whether it be men or women, right? And you don't want nobody else in your business, so you don't tell anybody. You think it's going to get better. 9 times out of 10, after the first time they hit you, it will get worse if they realize you're going to forgive them, and you're going to give in to them, because then they realize they have you where they want you, right? So please, even after the first time, don't take that. If somebody raises their hand to you, they do not love you like you think they do. They either have an obsession with you, it's not healthy, it's toxic. So please, 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 go get help. But what I'm going to do right now, yes, you do need to get away. It only gets worse from the very first time that it happens. And sometimes people don't see the DV if it's not physical, because there is a such thing as DV that is mental, right? And some people don't see it right away because of the love bombing and all this other stuff, right? They don't think about it. When we think about DV, what do we mostly think about? We think about physical, right? Not all the times is it physical. It can be mental and financial. A lot of people don't see it until they've been in it for quite a while and don't even realize it's happening to them. And some people are still in denial and it's happening until someone else points it out, right? Someone else says, this is not normal. This is not okay. The way you're being treated is not okay. There's mental, emotional, financial, even sexual, right? People don't realize that there's many facets of DV. Some people don't even realize they're in a DV situation. They think it's the normal. The most televised DV that most people think of is Tina Turner and Ike Turner, right? That is what, like, when you talk about like something you've seen or heard, a lot of people know about that situation, right? If you've ever seen the movie What's Love Got to Do with It, right? And Tina eventually got strong enough to get out. But how long did she put up with it, and where could it have turned? Thank God she was still with us up until her passing of, whatnot, from being older. But, not everybody makes it out. There was this famous story years ago. All right. And it was a Lifetime movie. I don't know if any of y'all have ever seen it, but she had left her abuser, right? And she had gotten, she had gotten protective orders, and the police wouldn't come pick him up. They wouldn't come pick him up. And he stood outside her house, like right across the street and then he ended up coming into the house and cutting her across her neck, her face, and stabbing her multiple times. And I think it's the Tracy Thurman story. I believe that's it. Let's see, make sure. Yes, if I'm not mistaken, it's the Tracy Thurman. A Cry for Help is the name of the movie, the Tracy Thurman story. If you've never seen that movie, it is a really, really good movie. This lady went through a lot. She, she got she's still here with us. She was not supposed to live through that. She survived that. That was a really, really crazy movie that will make you realize if you're in a domestic violence situation that when you get out there are certain things you have to do to protect yourself. And thank God with her story it did make the legal system look at it more closely, because back in the day, we're talking about 10, 15, 20 years ago, women were not believed. Men were not believed if they were in a DV situation, right? They would say, well, that's your husband, that's your wife. Specifically, if you were married, it was even worse, right? So, make sure that, even if you do leave a situation, do the proper channels to take care of yourself. Do not trust said person if they say they want to talk with you. And even if you have kids in the situation, be careful with that. If I'm going to tell y'all something that I want anybody to know that may have children and you're in a DV situation. This is for your and your child's protection. Take pictures, take videos without them knowing about it before you leave. And I'm going to explain to you why. Call the police the first time they do something. Go to the doctor. Have documentation, right? Have documentation. Let me explain to you why. Let's say y'all break up, you have 2 kids together. Guess what? That other parent can still get visitation, and that makes you still have to see your abuser, and they could possibly hurt your children. Get those documentations so when you go to court, you can make sure that they don't have access to you or your children. Get documentation, all of it that you can get. Every little bit of documentation. Take pictures when they leave marks on you. Take videos. Do you know how many situations? It breaks my heart to see all these stories in the news. You know what I'm saying? And I still think the justice system should do way more for DV situations. It's a sad situation. But the Tracy Thurman story, if you haven't seen it, you should totally look into it. It's a really good movie. It's an older movie. I think the movie came out in what year was it? Let me look that up right quick. I'll tell you. The movie was in 1989. And Tracy Thurman was an actual person. This really did happen to her, right? It's a real story. And it's something that we have to, we see ourselves, of what happens. She was a real person. This really did happen to her. It's really sad that this isn't the only one that happens. This happens all the times. I'm going to say this to all DV survivors and those who may have that crazy person that is still after them. Yes, get your restraining order. Let me explain to you why. Also, go to a Pow Pow range. Yes, it's on the Lifetime Movie Network, Miss LaKendra. A Cry for Help, the Tracy Thurman story. It's a really great movie. Get you a Pow Pow. Do not, go get you some lessons in karate and jiu-jitsu and things like that. Protect yourself. Get you a Pow Pow. Keep your Pow Pow on you. Keep your peace on you. Do not trust them if they say they want to have a conversation with you, right? Because I'm going to tell you this one. I have a friend that I know who lost her life because of a situation like this. He was in a hotel saying he was going to unalive himself. So, her being the kind, caring person she was, went to go check on him. She told him she did not want to get back with him, that she was happy in the situation when she was in. And the moment she turned her back on him, he pulled out a gun and took her life. Do not trust them in a private setting when they say they want to have a conversation with you. Please make sure you get self-defense classes. Get a Piao Piao. Get, if you're in a state and you have to have you know, a registration card, get registered. Something. Always have something. Do not trust them, because they are using your feelings for them that you used to have as a way to get you back. Please, for the love of God, I do not want to see anybody's name on that again. And if if we stop looking at it as if others are going to help you and help yourself. Do not trust the abuser. That's one. Two, self-defense classes. That's like the movie that J-Lo was in, Enough. I think the name of the movie was Enough. Where she was in the DV situation and she taught herself, how to fight and whatnot. And sure enough, the dude told her when she was on the ground and he'd think he won, that's when he would try. And sure enough, she was right. We see this all the time, right? Get a Piao Piao, get a license to carry, because you have a reason to protect yourself. Get the restraining order, because let me explain you something. If they come into your home or they are threatening you, then that shows, that you have done your due diligence to try to keep the person away from you, and you had no choice, right? You had no choice but to do what you had to do to protect yourself. Because that's why so many women are in prison right now. How many women have been put in prison for murdering someone, right? Because they felt like they had no choice and that was their only way out, right? And that's why they try to do the battered woman defense now. Because how many women were in prison for life in prison for taking out their abuser? How many women? That's why I say make sure you document, take pictures, take videos. If you can take a video of them during the rage without them seeing it, do it, because video is admissible. Like, you can use it in court as a proof, right? Even if you have to send it to a trusted friend for them to keep it, you have to delete it off your phone or email it to yourself. You can have 2 email addresses. This is for the people who don't have a support system and all their friends have been taken from them and their family. Create 2 email addresses or 2 different Facebooks. Hide one of the Facebooks. Send it to yourself so it's timed, dated, all that stuff. So you don't have to keep it in your phone, right? But it's a way for you to go back and look at it. If you need it, you can re-download it, right? If you have to delete it off your phone. Create 2 emails. One is your primary, one is your backup email. Email it to yourself. This way you don't have to keep it on your phone. So if your abuser goes through your phone, they won't see that, right? And make it worse for you. There is a way you can do it sneakily. I'm just giving you a way. Email it to yourself. Delete said thing. Sign out of that email if you have to. Remember that email sign in, right? Sign out of that email and only keep your primary up, right? You can delete it out of the outgoing box. It'll still be in the ingoing box of the other email address. Same thing. You can hide certain things on your main profile of your Facebook and Instagram, right? You can, but I would say the email to me would be the best way to do it, because it's something that, they won't be able to see as easy, right? Going through your phone. This is a way for women to protect themselves and men. Record every instance that you can. Take pictures. If you have to act like you're going to the bathroom, you know, and take pictures, do what you got to do to try to document what you're going through. Because if you get in a situation and you have to pow pow, this way you do have proof of what happened to you. If at all possible, go to the hospital. You see what I'm saying? Document your injuries, right? Restraining orders, self defense classes, learn how to pow pow. If you have to go to the range, if you've never shot one before in your life, go to the range. They will teach you how to properly hold a pow pow, how to properly shoot one. And this way, you have a way to protect you and your children. Do not trust the abuser and think that everything's going to be okay if you're trying to have a conversation with them. If an abuser wants to have a conversation with you, please do so in public. Do not do it in a private setting. Don't let them come to your house. Don't go to theirs. Don't go to a hotel room. Don't go to where you have no witnesses. Offer to meet them in a public place. Not saying that it can't still happen in a public place, but they are less likely to do something to you in a public place. And if they were to try to do something, then you have witnesses if you had to protect yourself, right? And witnesses are everything. I'm gonna say this. I'm with you, Miss Coffee. I would gut them like a fish, but that's me. That's side point. You know what I'm saying? But watch your surroundings. Even, even if let's say you're not in a DV situation, everybody should do that. Always watch your surroundings, but especially if you're in a DV situation, because there was this other instance of this lady who what had gotten out and all this other stuff. And we hear this all the time about how many people have lost their lives, right? Carry you a pow pow, carry you a knife, I said uh carry, something. And if I'm gonna tell you a little secret too, if they do get you in a situation where they're threatening you and all this other stuff, pretend and say what you have to get out of it. If you have to tell them you still love them, if you have to lie and say that you still care, knowing you don't, and that you're willing to work it out, right? Whatever you got to say to get out of that situation to protect yourself, act like you're coming up to give them a hug, and then do what you got to do. You see what I'm saying? Um, Sometimes you have to play into their narcissistic personality or their psychopath personality or whatever's going on with them. Sometimes you have to play into it to save yourself, right? Um, you know your abuser better than anybody does. You know what'll set them off, what'll tick them off. You also know what will one up their thought process, right? So if you have to act like, oh no, babe, it's just you hurt me and stuff, but I'm willing to work it out. Can I get a hug? And then do what you got to do, right? You see what I'm saying? Sometimes you have to play it smart. And even if you're upset, even if you're hurt, sometimes, you got to pretend to save yourself, if that makes sense. Do what you got to do. I'm just saying. Now, I will say that, it's a sad situation. Should anybody have to deal with that? No. Nobody should um, have to deal with that or anything like that. But it happens. It happens. Um, and I know that we all have to go through some things that maybe we may not, none of us should have to deal with, right? But this is Breast Care Awareness Month. It's DV. There's also a really great movie about um, HIV. There's quite a few good movies about that one. I'm trying to remember the one with it had Matthew McConaughey in it. And I'm gonna try to look up that movie right quick and tell y'all. It's actually a really good movie. What's the name? Oh, Dallas Buyers Club. Dallas Buyers Club. That's actually a really good movie. About someone who went from who ended up getting diagnosed with HIV/AIDS, right? Um, so that's actually a really good movie. If you haven't seen it, it's really good. It shows like from a perspective of a different perspective. There's quite a few movies about that maybe y'all might want to check out. And then you can also look into documentaries on how the HIV and AIDS epidemic took place. You know, there's all kinds of things for domestic violence. There's the hotline. We have hotlines for domestic violence. If you need out, you can look around in your area and find almost every area. Because my aunt was in a domestic violence situation, and she had to go into a program to where we couldn't call her. She had to call us, and like you had to get like the people that she was with had to make sure you were a trusted source before you could call, and you had to have a number, like a specific number to reach her. Like when you called into this place, like you would have a number like 4568, right? 4568 or 78910, something like that, right? And there was a specific number you had to say in order to get connected to your family member. And the reason they did this was so that the abusers could not connect to the abuse victim. And only so many people would be on the trusted list, right? And we couldn't go see her at all. She was basically considered to be underground, if that makes sense, from her abuser. We had to, when she called, we got to talk to her for a little while, but it was basically she had almost like a no contact with anybody, right? And so that it protected her. She couldn't tell us where she was at. She couldn't give us an address, nothing like that, because it was for her protection, right? Um, and there are all kinds of places like that. So if you're going through a DV situation, please look in your area for one of those. It's a battered woman's shelter. Men also, please, men, don't be afraid to step up and step out, and don't be ashamed, because that's something that I see men go through is they're ashamed to admit it, right? They're like, well, I'm a man. Because here's the thing about that instance that I was talking about. In fact, I was hoping I could find that video. Because the man was a big old man. Like, I mean, he was huge, right? Like, this guy was like 6 foot something, 300 pounds, right? And the girl that he was with barely weighed 95 pounds or something like that. And I wish I could find that video again. At one time I had it, but she was barely like 95 pounds. And so the cops thought he was the abuser, when actually it was the opposite way. They got called back within a few hours, and she had murdered him, and they were trying to hold their hand to his throat and all that and stop the bleeding, but she got him right in the jugular. So, and he was not the abuser. He was innocent. He was taking abuse from her, and he had done, you know, he loved her so much, but she was toxic, she was crazy, and he tried to stay thinking, I'm a dude, I could get out anytime I want. No, he decided to stay in it because, oh, men can't be in that situation. I wish I could find that again, because that was actually a good one. It was to show that men go through that too. I do know. I myself know somebody that was in my life that died or passed away from a situation like that. I know people who lived through it, but both men and women can be the victim. Not all times are men the perpetrator. A lot of men are just too afraid to step up and say something, which can be to their detriment. And just like I tell women to get out, I'm telling men to get out. Do not stay with an abuser, whether it be physical, mental, financial, whatever the abuse is, don't stay with it. There is someone out there that is better for you. Don't stay with it. I'm trying to find a situation right quick, y'all, that I wanted to show y'all. Um, that, it's not all the time. It's not all the time that, um, like there was a situation. Let me see if I still have it pulled up. Uh, this is something that I was going to show y'all when we were talking about, true crimes and things. I've had this pulled up for a minute now. Let me go through here and make sure I got everything pulled up. Let me get off this. So yeah, the Matthew McConaughey movie was really good that I just talked about. The Tracy Thorman story, and then I'm going to present this. Let's go. This is a true crime situation that happened not too long ago. This is about a woman who poisoned. Okay, and also I'm going to show this is fair use in the copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. This right here is basically we're news reporting and we're talking about it. We're commenting on it. It talks about our situation that we're speaking about right now. So I'm going to go ahead and play this video right quick.
Act. That's what North Dakota prosecutors described for a woman.
Game of Thrones fans are finally
fatally poisoning her boyfriend. An intentional and heinous act. That's what North Dakota prosecutors described for a woman charged with fatally poisoning her boyfriend, all for a plot to allegedly steal millions of dollars she thought she was entitled to. Authorities have arrested 47-year-old Ina Knoyer for the murder of her longtime boyfriend, Stephen Riley Jr. Investigators were able to piece together cracks in the long-term relationship between the two. Court records reveal Ina allegedly poisoned her boyfriend of 10 years with a lethal dose of antifreeze after learning he was planning to break up with her when he received a $30 million inheritance. Ina told investigators that after Stephen's death, she was entitled to part of that large sum because she was Stephen's common-law wife and that she planned to split the money with Stephen's sons. Problem is, North Dakota does not recognize common-law marriages, and according to court documents, Ina became incensed when investigators explained that detail to her. Court documents go on to state the chilling circumstances of Stephen's death. Officials say on September 4th, EMTs responded to the couple's home where Stephen was discovered unresponsive. He was rushed to a local emergency room, but his medical condition was so severe he had to be flown to a Bismarck hospital. Authorities say Stephen never regained consciousness and passed away the next day. Investigators say after his passing, they received reports from family and friends of Stephen sharing their concerns that Ina was behind his death. According to court documents shared with Long Crime Network, Stephen's friends explained Ina made comments in the past about poisoning him with antifreeze. even making comments after his death that he was poisoned with antifreeze, despite no lab work tests for antifreeze being completed and no medical professional conveying any information about Stephen's condition to Ina, including the fact that he died. Court records show several of Stephen's friends raised red flags to investigators. They said he was about to be a recipient of a large inheritance, and they believed he was planning on meeting an attorney at the airport the day before he was found unresponsive to complete that transaction. Ina was also reportedly aware of the $30 million inheritance. Stephen's friends also revealed to police a key detail on why Ina allegedly committed the heinous act. They say Stephen planned to break up with Ina after receiving the money, which reportedly made her furious. One friend even witnessed Ina throwing Stephen's belongings outside on the afternoon of September 3rd, the day before he was found unresponsive. During that evening, friends say they witnessed Stephen's health declining rapidly, revealing troubling details about his final moments. Court documents show Stephen voiced his concerns to his friends about the symptoms he was experiencing. He felt like he was drunk, but didn't consume alcohol. He suffered from stomach pain, was unsteady on his feet, and nearly fell over while trying to walk. His friends wanted to take Stephen to the hospital, but Ina was adamant that he was suffering from a heat stroke and needed to go home to rest. Stephen reportedly was so sick within an hour he was vomiting, could not walk on his own, and seemed to be in and out of consciousness. A close friend of Stephen's, Wesley Torgerson, told detectives he was very concerned about his health, but allowed Ina to keep taking care of him because she claimed to have medical training to aid someone suffering from a heat stroke. And another cause for concern. On the morning of September 4th, he went to check on Stephen. Ina reportedly spoke to Torgerson through a closed door and said Stephen was at a walk-in clinic. The affidavit states Torgerson went to every walk-in clinic in Minot as well as the emergency room and learned Stephen had not been to any of those locations. According to court documents, the coroner was made aware of the antifreeze poisoning concerns and conducted a test on Stephen's blood. The results revealed ethylene glycol in his system, the key ingredient for antifreeze. After Stephen's autopsy, the coroner reported the cause of death, which was ethylene glycol poisoning. Once police executed a search warrant for the couple's home, they discovered in the living room an old Windex bottle without a cap, containing a bright green liquid suspected to be antifreeze. Police later found in the garage a glass Coors Light bottle and plastic mug, both containing the suspected antifreeze. Ina told police Stephen had been drinking all day on September 3rd, but claimed he had a heat stroke on September 2nd. However, another friend of Stephen's, Billy Burkhead, told police Stephen was fine on September 2nd and had no signs of being ill or having a heat stroke. And Stephen's toxicology report showed he had no alcohol in his system. Ina disclosed to investigators her own account of what happened. Court documents state Ina provided multiple scenarios about how Stephen could have ingested the antifreeze. They included how Stephen's cigarette may have fallen into antifreeze in the garage. She also claimed to have Googled symptoms of heat stroke and found they mimicked poisoning. Ina admitted to investigators she served sweet tea to Stephen throughout the day. The affidavit states antifreeze is known to be easily disguised in sweet drinks. According to investigators, Stephen was alone with Ina for at least 12 hours before she sought any medical attention for Stephen. Ina was arrested on October 30th, about a month after her boyfriend passed away inside a Bismarck hospital. She was charged with intentional murder and is being held behind bars on $1 million bond. The Minot Police Department says the investigation is still ongoing. Ina's murder charge could carry a maximum penalty of life without parole if she's convicted. Her next court date is scheduled for December 7th.
So that is a case that we will be watching in December. I am going to keep an update on that because I think that's, that does play into domestic violence, right? She thought he was going to leave her. He was going to get money, right? And that she was going to get away with it. But we're going to also listen to this video. Oh, hold on. Let me make sure this video right here is a phone call that she had with someone else, and it is damning evidence against her. We're going to listen to it. This is something so we can get caught up before her trial begins. Actually, her trial began, it looks like, Georgia versus Melody Ferris, day 18, closing arguments. So her trial is there. That's the other lady that I was going to talk about, where she burned him in a burn pile. Her name is Melody Ferris. That's another case that we were going to talk about. Um, and I will show y'all that one. There was she threw him in the fire, y'all. But this is oh no, this is the Melody Ferris. I was looking at, hold on, what was this case is called the Stephen Edward case, I suppose. So we're gonna look up right quick. And we're the Elizabeth Milner. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna look up see if we can find the case on this one. The Anna Thea. Oh, okay, so here we go. Here we go. Here's what happened with that case. We already have what happened with that case. So we're going to share this instead. A North Dakota woman will serve 25 years in prison for the poisoning death of her boyfriend, who authorities say believed he was about to come into a large inheritance and had planned to break up with her. Ina Thea Coiner was charged with murder in October 2023 for the death of 51-year-old Stephen Riley Jr. Riley was hospitalized and died September the 5th, 2023, after falling ill and losing consciousness, according to court documents. An autopsy found he had died from ethanol glycol poisoning, according to the Minoy police officer's affidavit. Ethanol glycol is used in antifreeze. During the sentencing, Riley's family, including his sister Stephanie Gonzalez, addressed coroner in the courtroom. CBS affiliate KXMB reported, as so many other families of victims often feel, the punishment should fit the crime. But lucky for you, the Department of Corrections doesn't serve antifreeze in your iced tea. Coiner pled guilty in May. State District Judge Richard Hagar on Wednesday accepted attorney's joint sentencing recommendation of 50 years in prison for Coiner to serve 25 years, with 25 years suspended, along with 10 years of supervised probation and $3,455 in restitution paid to Riley's family, the Minoy Daily News reported. So she faced up to life in prison without parole on the charge. Riley's friends and family contacted Minoy police with concerns that Coiner had poisoned him with antifreeze. According to the affidavit, his friends told the investigator his health rapidly declined at the airport, where he went to meet a lawyer to complete the inheritance transaction. The officer wrote, authorities said Coiner claimed Riley had been drinking alcohol all day and suffered heat stroke in the days before his death. Coiner knew of the inheritance, which she thought was over $30 million, and felt like it was due to the portion of Riley's common law wife, according to the affidavit. So she thought she was going to get some. North Dakota does not recognize common law marriages. Investigators doubt the inheritance existed, according to the newspaper. Several people in recent months have been accused of using poison to ill their spouses. Partners in the U.S. last October, a poison specialist, a former medical resident at the Mayo Clinic in Minnesota, was charged with fatally poisoning his wife, a 32-year-old pharmacist who died in August. In May of 2023, the author of the children's book on grief was accused of killing her husband by poisoning him with a lethal dose of fentanyl at their home in Utah. And in March of 2023, a Colorado dentist was arrested on suspicion of first-degree murder after police say he laced his wife pre-workout shakes with arsenic and cyanide. So this is a thing that is happening right now that we're seeing. It does relate to DV, right? It does relate. It relates to the DV situation. Yes, the burn pile murder case. That is actually the Erder case is going on right now. We are going to be talking about that one on tomorrow. I'm going to actually start that one because we now know that Lillian Simon was found guilty. We also know that Sarah Boone was found guilty. They were both found guilty. Now, it's on day 18 for the burn pile murder case, but Erder case, we're going to go over that tomorrow on, on True Crime Thursday. So I wanted to let everybody know that. And before I get off here today, I will state that Friday I will not be live as long as I normally am because I am going to have to go help my parents pay their bills. I am sick or whatnot, but I'm trying to keep up with everything. So right now, who we have live, what I'm seeing is Pinocchio's World. We have Ness, No Mess, Grown Folks TV, The Good Putty Cat, The Truth Enterprise. That's who I see right now. Also, Court TV is live. I'm going to make sure I'm going to refresh that I don't miss anybody that may be live at this moment. I know I have to go back and watch The Hood Table. Oh, ODS is live right now. ODS is live. D-Derail Life Solutions is live. The Good Putty Cat, Ness, Pinocchio's World, Creole Butterfly is also live. And I'm going to share out her live because Creole, we need to make sure that she gets her watch hours. So I'm going to share her out right now. And yes, Sarah is exactly where she needs to be. Because here's the thing with that one, the domestic violence went both ways, right? Sarah Boone wasn't the only one that was getting DV'd in that situation. She was also doing it to him. They were both toxic for each other. It was not a good relationship. Both of them technically needed to break up. You gonna be subbing from a lot of people, Miss Coffee? I got to make sure I'm subbing because I got to keep all the news you can use and everything. But the Hood Table is just live. I'm going to go catch her replay. Sorry, the Hood Table, if I missed it. I had to do my live and whatnot. But you got to get in where you fit in. And I know you had to go to work and everything. But I will catch your replay. This is also Creole Butterflies. I'm also going to try to pop over there to ODS because I love me some ODS and he's cool people. But right now I'm trying to make sure that our beautiful Creole Butterfly gets her watch hours and everything. And I want y'all all to have a beautiful, amazing day on this day. I will catch y'all later and hopefully see you on these streets and see what happens today. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for all my cloud watchers. Thank you for everybody who comes back through and gives me a like, a share. I just want to say thank you to everyone. And I hope you all have a blessed, beautiful day.
From the TUBELO, I'm reppin' my hood, so love I'm gon' show. From the TUBELO, I'm reppin' my hood to the day that I go. From the TUBELO, I'm reppin' my hood, so love I'm gon' show. From the TUBELO, I'm ripping my hood to the day that I go.
I'm from the west side, we don't need no introduction, this was the best ride. We all big boy rolling and holding, come take a test drive. Hilldale, Evergreen, Glenkirk, Outer Street, bending every corner on the west, and that's where I'll be. Sunroof back, captain seat banging down 1800, chunking up the deuce to my post slanging down on 1800. Show no love to the ladies that's training around on 1800, making time stand still, crystalline swinging down 1800. Watching out for them knuckleheads that be slanging around on 1900. Big rims and low pros be blanging around on 1900. Better completely change the way you're thinking about around 1800. Really hate to see you boys get left slanking around 1800. Out the street got some history, just let Captain C lay it out. If I don't finish it all on this one, let the second verse break it out. Remember the blue apartments from OG standing back there by 60 deep. Bull walking, car blue, a big Anthony using P.
I'm from the TUBELO. I'm repping my hood.